Kianna, can you hear me? She's still trying to connect. There you are.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you? 1 second.
Sure.
Hold on 1 second. Okay. Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I am fine, thank you.
Let me turn the brightness up because I don't think you can see. Okay. All good.
Okay, we're good now. Thank you for joining in.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for having me.
Perfect. Can you see me now? Can you hear me properly?
I can. Hold on. It's like. Can you see me?
Of course.
Okay, cool.
Good. Thank you so much. We're about to start. How are you doing today?
I am good. I just literally just got in maybe like a half hour ago.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's been crazy today. I did a lot of drop off. So I'm finally in my resting place.
Nice. So this is Sharon King of Sharon King Worldwide. Today I have on my show, Kianna Francois. Kianna?
Yep.
Did I pronounce your last name properly?
You did. You did.
Kianna is the owner of Sweet Bite LLC. Thank you so much for being on today.
Thank you for
Kianna,
having me.
please tell us about yourself, who you are.
So I am 26 years old. I am a single mom of a 2.5-year-old. I am a business owner and just I am full of a lot of surprises. I am, I'd like to say I'm an entrepreneur, but I'm just like an innovator. I like to try different things and explore different things. And that's how I ended up here. It's how Sweet Bites came to fruition. And yeah, that's me.
And what do you do at Sweet Bites?
So I own a baked goods company. It is vegan based. So all of my goods are made eggless, no animal products. I don't even use anything that touches anything with animal products. And I just kind of been diving into the veganism thing for the past 2 years. So this is like something I just felt like just came naturally, something that I've been studying and learning about. So I just wanted to implement what I already know into something that I love to do, which is be in the kitchen. So that's where I am.
Congratulations in advance. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
If you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
I'm 26.
Nice. And you're doing your thing.
I am. I actually just turned 26 on the 19th.
Oh,
So
happy birthday.
yeah.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You mentioned that you are a single mom.
Yes.
And how has that been for you, being an entrepreneur, being the woman that you are, running your business and doing this by yourself?
It has its challenges. I'm not gonna say that it's a easy road. There are times where I'm just like, I don't know how I'm going to do all this and juggle being a mom, but I just get it done. I love my son. He is a ball of energy. Boys are definitely full of energy. And he just kind of gives me the motivation to keep going, because there's times where having a business is not pie in the sky. It's not easy, but when you find out your why and you find out, who you're doing it for, and you remember that even when the times get tough, it just makes things so much easier.
Oh, that is so beautiful. So, Kianna, when you started your business, were you inspired by your grandmother, your family? How did it started?
To be honest with you, I was always someone who liked to channel how I felt in the kitchen. I wasn't someone who was very vocal when I was younger. So whenever I had any issues, I would just kind of find my way to release it without saying much. And my way was cooking or writing or doing something of that nature. So to be honest with you, it kind of just came to fruition from just me being in the kitchen, just baking stuff, trying to make myself feel like I'm doing something, especially during the quarantine, because no one was doing anything. So it was just like, let me just get in the kitchen and just start throwing things together and post pictures of them. And that's how it happened. I just kind of was inspired by me just getting in there and just trying to get creative and utilize my time.
That's beautiful. You know, that's a blessing, and I wish you continuous success. There's a lot of women out there, especially African American women, are really out there doing their thing, and I compliment them, and I wish you nothing but the best. When I saw you, I was so intrigued by your story and how you started and what you're doing. And I said, I have to speak to her. I have to speak to her.
Okay.
And I cannot tell you how proud I am of you. And I wish you continued success. I want to see you on the
Oh,
list.
thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. I mean, at the age that you are, you have such a head on your shoulder to know what it is that you want. You know your why, you know your purpose. What advice would you give young women out there?
Honestly, I would say don't give up on yourself. Don't ever feel like you're too young or too old to do anything. And you've never arrived. And that's what I've learned during that quarantine time, to just be here. When I got laid off from my job, I was just like literally like laying in my room, and I'm like, this can't be what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, and I don't knock anyone who works a 9 to 5, but I would just tell like someone who's out there my age, that if you're at a job and you feel like it's not giving you that challenge, or it's not pushing you, or it's not giving you that heartfelt momentum to just keep moving on, and you feel stagnant, that means you're supposed to be tapping into whatever it is inside that's feeding you. And everybody knows what that is. It's just you got to focus in on it. And once I focused in on it, it just blossomed into something else. I would just tell people to just really like take time to like do self-care. And once you do self-care of yourself, you'll figure out what your journey is supposed to be.
You know, that is so true. You're absolutely right. And it took me a long time to actually realize that. And it feels so good. You feel so much at peace. You're so relaxed. And it's a blessing when you know your purpose, when you know your why. You're happy with yourself. You're content with yourself. It's a beautiful thing. It really is. And, for all the young women and men listening out there, absolutely right. Go for it. Focus on you. Self-care is so important, extremely important.
Yes. I actually learned the hard way that self-care is more important than anything else. I used to be that person that literally would just like work hard at my job, and like I didn't really listen to my body. I wasn't listening to the aches and the miserableness that I had, and it created so much tension within myself that I was no longer happy doing what I was doing. I just became miserable, and it just didn't allow me to be free with my child. And once I realized that, I felt more angry when I got home because I was so frustrated with work. I was like, this isn't for me. So when the quarantine hit and I was laid off, I was like, okay, this is what was supposed to happen. And I was like, you know, I just encourage people like to just listen to whoever you believe in. If it's God, if it's the universe, or whoever it is, just tap into that voice. It's speaking to you, and a lot of times we don't want to listen to it because it's out of the norm. It's not something that you're used to doing, and that's that one thing you have to do, because that's just what's going to bring you to where you're supposed to be.
Absolutely. And a lot of people look at it as fear. I don't want to move to the next step. Things are going too fast. You got to realize when you put stuff in the universe of what it is that you want, what it is that you want to accomplish, the universe listens and it gives you what you want. Now you have to be able to open up and receive for what you ask for. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to move out of your comfort zone. Don't be afraid to take chances. You never know where you will end up. You never know. And you never know who you're inspiring.
That is very true. And it's funny you say that, because I remember going on Instagram while I'm laying at home because there's nothing else to do. Everything's closed. And I would just see all these people who, like, I'm always someone who likes to read about how someone started and like where they came from and where they're like guiding themselves to. And I just was like so frustrated with myself. Like, I know I can do something else. I know that I'm supposed to be my own boss. Like, I always knew that I was supposed to work for myself because I'm a very hard worker, but I just never felt whole at a job. And I was like, there's no way that this is how life is supposed to be, where you just go and you ask someone, you know, you're building somebody else's dream. And I can't get over like Instagram, social media, that stuff sucked me in. And I'm like, these people are living like dream lives. And I'm like, I want that too. And when you keep speaking things positively, I always say like you're hung by the tongue. Like whatever you say, whether or not you think it's going to be put into the universe, it is, whether it's negative or positive. And I always just tell people too around me, like, watch what you say, because even though you think that it doesn't mean much, you start to believe it, like whatever it is. And I just kept telling myself, like, you're going to be a business owner. You're going to do something big for Bash. You're going to leave a legacy for him. You're going to show him that even though you're a single mom, you can do it. And that's just what I was doing. And I honestly feel that, you know, social media pushed me a little bit more. Like I always felt like I had it in me, but I just needed that little push. And once I got that push, I was just like, I'm just going to do it. And whatever happens is going to happen. But at least I tapped into what was like calling. My calling was always there, and I listened to it, and I made the best decision I think I've made in a while. So
You know, it's so beautiful. Discipline also have a lot to do with it. Listen to your calling. Take time for yourself. Meditate, yoga. And you know what? You mentioned negativity. Stay away from negative people. Stay away from people that have a solution for everything. We don't know it all. We're learning every day. We never stop growing. Listen to your calling. And you know also, Kianna, it's also good to write down what it is that you want. I write down what it is that I want. I put dates beside them to accomplish them. And I just keep on working and I keep on focusing. And you know what I also did? I shift the people in my circle. I only have certain people in my circle because my vision and my calling is my vision and my calling. I cannot allow anyone to separate me from that. And I cannot convince people to see my purpose and my calling and my vision. Those are mine. And I come to realize and I accept that I cannot force my vision and my calling on other people. And I think that has to do a lot with it. We're here sitting and want people to believe in what we're doing, but that is our vision. That is our calling. That's not theirs. That's what you want. And once you're focused and more balanced on that, I really believe that your life will be a little bit more simpler.
Yeah, I think too, a lot of people put pressure on themselves to appease the people around them or to get approval from other people. And that's too much work. I always say, like, it's just too much to throw yourself into the lion's den, I like to call it, to like you give your ideas to your friends and they don't believe in it, or oh, that's crazy, that's insane, that's not going to work, or why would you start a business, you just got laid off from your job, you don't have the money for that, or what are you going to, like all these things. And it's like you start to believe all those things that are true, and fear is completely a lie. None of it even is accurate. 9 times out of 10, the thing you fear the most isn't even going to play out like that. And it's funny because I just met up with someone literally today, and the whole thought before I got there, I was like, I don't think it's I don't think it's going to work out the way I thought it was going to go. And I had to catch myself. I'm like, you don't even know if that's going to be the situation. And then when I got there, it turned out to not be what I was fearing of. And it's just like 9 times out of 10, that's what happens. And we know that as human beings, but we still listen to the lies and the fear that's talking, and all that stuff is not true. And 9 times out of 10, it's not even going to play out how you think it's going to play out. And it's not meant for you to know how something's going to play out. Sometimes you just have to let it literally just play out and let things be how they're going to be. So
you're absolutely right. And you know what? Living in a state of fear, it consumes all doubt. And so you will forever be doubting yourself. The years are going to go by, the decades are going to go by, and you're not going to accomplish basically anything. You're going to stay within the same location you was at. You're not moving, you're stagnant. And so you've got to take risks. You got to take chances. Good risks, good chances. We don't know, like Kianna said, we don't know how it's going to turn out, but you got to move somewhere. And I really believe the pandemic that's going on right now is allowing people to re-examine their life, re-examine to what's more important, to what's matter, family, friends, business, everything, what really matters to you in this life.
And you know what? I feel that it's needed. I know a lot of people look at 2020 as, it's been a hard year. It's been a lot of loss. It's been a lot of tough things, but I think that we needed it. I think a lot of us needed to slow down. We were moving too fast, especially here in New York. We're always pepping our step. We're always trying to run and be quick. We're people cutting people off on highways. Like, we're insane here. But I think that people needed to take a step back and reevaluate, like you said, like, what am I doing, what my purpose is calling me to do? Am I surrounded by people that I need to be around? Am I working at a job that I'm supposed to be at? And 9 times out of 10, I've spoken to so many people who have been laid off from their jobs, and they've been doing their own thing, finding their own side hustles, or realizing like, you know what, I got laid off, but I wanted to leave that company anyway, or I wanted to, and you needed it. You needed a refresher. And sometimes you need to reevaluate. And since we're so stuck in the day to day, like, let's go to work, let's get up early and go to the same place, you don't have time to pay attention to what your heart is telling you. And I think that the quarantine actually helped a lot of people find themselves. And I'm so happy that a lot of my friends have found what they're supposed to do. I've seen a lot of people that I don't really speak to as much, but, I see them starting businesses and they're buying homes and they're, doing things that they probably always wanted to do, but they've like catapulted at it. And it's a beautiful thing. So I try to look at the positive from the coronavirus pandemic, because let's not forget what it has caused. A lot of people lost lives due to it, but it did create a blossom of new life in people who've just been dead zombies for a long time.
That's right. And not only that, it allows you to see what job is important and what job at this point is not.
Mm-hmm.
And so you reevaluate yourself. Now, all the time that you spend on jobs, you could have did your business, but
Yep.
everything is timing.
Yeah.
Everything is timing. You might not have been ready at that time.
Correct.
So everything is timing. Now you're more focused. Now you're going to work harder for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So everything is timing. The pandemic has taught us a lot. Sharon King Worldwide is my business, but it's not my main business. I also have a full-time job. And
Okay.
by the grace of God, thank God I still have my job working for the state. But Sharon King Worldwide, I love it. I love what I do. I love talking to people. I love to hear the stories. I love to hear, the struggles. I love to hear what you've been through, because what you have been through, what I have been through, is inspiring people that are going through it right now. And your words, what you have been through, can inspire people to live their best life.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't believe that what someone have been through is so bad that you cannot tell your story to help somebody else. So we should not, I won't say we cannot, we should not be ashamed of what we've been through and how far we have come. I think that we need to celebrate how far we came through our struggle, celebrate when our struggle is over with, and move forward and pay it forward for others. Tell your story. Don't be ashamed of your story.
Absolutely. I think that if anything, your story is never complete with some sort of like climax of like some crazy event, and then like when you get to where you're supposed to be, you'll look back and be like, do you remember when that happened? And and it makes the story believable, it makes the story inspiring, it makes the story powerful for people who are literally laying in that beginning stage of your story. And now they see hope, like, okay, so if she came out of it, there's some sort of positive that may come from it. And that's hard to do when you're in the chaos, because when you're going through it, especially when you're broke, because I know there was a time in the beginning, when my ex and I, ended things, it was rough financially. New York is not an easy place to figure it out. And I was just like, you know what? I just got to figure it out. I don't know what I'm going to do. I had an 8-month-old baby at the time. And I'm just like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I had to figure it out. And it was hard, but they were like I said, there's always glimpse of hope. There's always like drops of like faith every now and then. And every time I felt like I just couldn't take it anymore, there would be something there to show me that, okay, I can do it. Okay, I got it. I'm almost there. And I just want people to embrace their struggles, because it literally forms them and shapes them into who they have to be. Because this Kianna is not who I was 2 years ago. I was someone who was afraid to take risks. I was someone who, needed everything to be laid out correctly. I needed to know, okay, the first step to this and the second step, I needed it all laid out. And I realized that life's not like that. There is no blueprint to life. There is no, panel of like how to raise a child. Like there's always something, there's like that suspense, right? Like there's always a piece of your story that's just kind of crazy. You just got to figure out how you can get through it and still laugh about it when you finally make it to the top. And now I laugh, but at the time I wasn't laughing. Wasn't laughing at the time, but it worked out. So
You know what? I was just like you. I had to have everything laid out. It had to be perfect, because I at times I still could be a perfectionist, and it had to be perfect, because I was worrying about what people are going to say to me, how they're going to judge me, and you come to a place in your life where all that doesn't matter.
mm,
It doesn't matter, because you're the only one that's walking the journey. And at the end of the day, you have to live with your conscience, whether it's good or bad. So
yep.
everything else don't matter. Only thing that matters is that you're happy and you did good.
Yeah.
You did good.
But
And
you know what? That takes growth, because I feel like we say this, right? Because we've experienced it and everything. But like when you're going through it, it's like, I don't need to know that, or I don't need to do that and this and that, until you've reached a point where it's like, okay, I got it. I understand what I'm supposed to do from it. And I think that especially like the youth, like people my age, we like to think we have all the answers and we know what we're supposed to do, or, oh, I know I got this. And it's like, I had to literally take a step back, and literally I dropped to my knees at one point and was like, all right, I don't have all the answers. Like, give me some sort of sign. Like I started reading books on like just taking care of money the correct way and saving and, paying off debt and stuff like that. And it changed my whole thought process. Like everything I thought I had the answers to, I just learned something. Like I was schooled. Like I learned what I was supposed to do better. And I just hope that there's people out there that are listening and they know, all right, I don't know everything, and it's okay for me not to know everything, but I can still grow. I can still learn about things that I thought I had all the answers to, because there's always more to each topic that you can learn. So that was my synopsis of like all of that. So,
that is very good, especially at your age, reading books on finances and everything else, because it took me a long time to understand money.
yeah.
It took me a long time to appreciate money. And it took me a long time to realize just because I have the money, that doesn't mean I have to spend it all.
Yep.
So discipline comes along with having money, because when you're busting your butt working for all that money and you see the money coming in, if you're not disciplined enough, you will lose everything as soon as it come in, because you want an expensive purse, you want to get your hair done, you want to hang out, you want to show off. But when you understand money and how money works, and it takes discipline, understanding, it takes a lot of growing up,
Yeah.
maturity. And it is a process.
Oh yeah.
Everything is
Money
a
and I,
process.
money and I, our relationship has always been up and down. It is something that you like for me, I've always been one of those people that had to learn the hard way. I had to have it happen a couple of times before I learned. And my thing was just like I would work hard, like I said, at my jobs, and I had good paying jobs for my age. But when the money would come in, I would feel like, okay, but I need that. Like I have to get that because I need it. And it's like once you really sit down and evaluate, it's like, did you really need that?
Right.
Or did you really want it? And it's like some things are just not important. And as you get older and you start looking at life for what it is, it's like that doesn't even matter. Like none of that even matters. Like, and I'm so glad that I did learn because, well, I'm glad I learned before I started my business so that I didn't start just getting money and just doing whatever with it. And it's still a learning process. It's still things that I'm learning, but taking a hold of your finances is so important. It's so vital just in life, not even just for me being a business owner, but just in general. Like having a relationship with debt is like a non-negotiable. It's like a toxic relationship for me. And I made sure that I was going to make sure that I paid off everything that I needed to pay off. And I was going to start clean before I started my business. And I'm just so glad that I made that decision. And I hope that I can only show my son and people out there, like, you want to make sure that you have all that in order so that in the event something like a pandemic happens again, you don't have to worry about that. So,
That's pretty good. And I have to congratulate you because you started at a younger age than I did in taking a hold of your finance. I started at an older age, and I understand money. I understand personal credit now. I understand business credit. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't do that. They mix everything together. My business credit with my personal credit. No, you got to build your business credit and you build your personal credit separately. You have a business bank account and you have a personal bank account. You don't join them together.
yeah.
And so I'm so glad that I learned it, but I learned it at an older age in my life. And the thing about it is I appreciate it. I had a problem with money also. I had to go to all the sales. I would go in my closet. I had things in bags. God, I was like, well, damn, many years have you been sitting here? I never wore you. And so I was like a hoarder. I guess I was a hoarder. I had to buy stuff and just put in my closet, still have the tag on. Weekend come, I had to go to every restaurant. Me now, no, I have coupons. It's a need, it's a want. My budget for the month, this is what I'm gonna spend. And if it's not in my budget, guess what? I don't need it. And guess what? I am not running up my credit card just to get it because I don't need it that bad. I have everything I need. And so it was a discipline and it took me a long time to get there, but I got there. And you're right. It's a blessing when you could get it from a young age. It really is. Because there's not many classes and there's not many teaching, especially the young people on money management, on how important your credit is. Your business credit, your personal credit. Don't put money together. And co-signing. No one is teaching about that. It's not a good idea to co-sign for people in business. Business is business, no matter how you do it. It's still business.
That thing right there, co-signing is like the devil right there for me. And I'm just like, man, no, I'm not doing that. And I always like now, I don't know if it's because I'm in business now or if it's just because I've experienced a lot of things. I've learned so much that like, if I don't have the money for it, I don't need it. And that's the thing with me. I used to just like charge things up and it's just like, you have to pay that back. Like you have to pay that back. And I would just be like, oh, I'll pay it. And it's just like, it builds up and then you end up being in a whole pile of debt and you don't know how to get out of it. And that's the thing too. Like I just learned priorities and understanding that certain things are just not important. They're not needed. But Dave Ramsey was someone that I actually learned a lot from. I read one of his podcasts. Like he had a written one on Instagram and I was reading about the baby steps and stuff like that. And I started from there. And I was like, let me try this because I'm already like deep in debt. Let me just try something and see if that'll help out. And it did. And I just utilized it every month. Every month I would just like reattack my finances and re-budget and rewrite out what I have, and just kept crossing off my debt when I paid it off. And there's still a little bit there, but I'm like close to being done. And I'm thankful that I learned that information and that it was out there, because sometimes you just don't even know where to look to get that information, especially us. Generation Y is always focusing on other things, so we don't even pay attention to the things that are vital. But that was important to me, and I wanted to make sure that I set the example for my son, because I want him to make those steps.
And you know what? I'm so glad you mentioned that, because us as women, African American community, period, we're not realizing it's time for us to buy gold. The money, the pennies are not available for change. We need to invest more. We need to start buying gold instead of buying all these expensive material things. We need to buy stocks. We need to buy life insurance, so that we're not standing on the corner asking for money to bury our dead or loved ones. We just need to invest better. We need to spend money wisely. And we need to spend money where that they give back to our community. We're just out there buying stuff because it's name brand. Why don't you create your own brand and wear your own brand? You know, invest in yourself. And, you know, right now it's so much investment and so many things going on that you could just tap $20 into it per month. Invest in something. And I'm so proud of you, and I'm so happy for you. And I want to see you grow, and you are growing, and you're such an inspiration, even to me. I'm gonna, in more years, I'm gonna be 50 years old, but you're such an inspiration. And let me ask you, when you started your business, did you get loans? Did you start out in your pocket? How did you start it?
I did no loans. I actually became super paranoid about debt. Like, it just, the thought of borrowing was just like, oh my God, I don't want to owe anyone. But I had a savings already that was just piling up for whatever. I just had it. I tapped into it when needed. So I actually just started posting on Instagram. People were ordering. And then when I noticed that I was sending a lot of money, well, I was accepting a lot of money on Cash App because people were sending me payments through there. I got an alert from them that I needed to like be mindful of like the transactions. I had a whole bunch of money coming in at a time. And then they actually flagged me, and I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
So after that, that's when it pushed me to like get serious about it. So I went to my bank and I opened up a bank account or business account, and I took the money that I was getting from my orders plus the money that I had saved, and I just put it in the account. And thankfully I had already been buying stuff. So I had stock for things. So I didn't have to go and buy a whole bunch of stuff, because I was like, oh my God, I have to write out my books. Like, what am I going to do? I didn't have a person. And just marking things down, I was able to keep the finances coming in because I wasn't having a crazy amount of success at the time, but then now it's picking up. So I was like, okay, I'm thankful that I had that safety net there. But thankfully I did not have to get a loan. I used the money that I had already saved. I was always good with like saving stuff because I never wanted to feel like I had nothing in the event something did happen. So I was good with that. My mom worked, she did well teaching me that.
Mom.
Yeah, she was really good with that. But I had the money there, so thankfully it worked out. So I didn't have to do a loan. If you don't have to do a loan, you know, I'm all for it, but some people don't have that luxury where they didn't have anything saved, so you do what you can. But I always say, if you're gonna take, make sure it's something that you know you can pay back, so that you don't end up digging yourself so deep into a hole. It's just like, you want your business to supplement things, and you want to be able to make profit, and you want to be able to make a difference with what you're doing, but you also don't want it to become a burden with what you already have going on. So that, being mindful of that is so important, because I wanted to make sure too, because I was paranoid. Like, I just want to make sure that I'm not overspending. I started to find things in bulk and stuff, because I was going to the supermarket like every day, and I was like, this is not working. So finding that balance also, and figuring out what's best for the dollar made sense. So that worked out.
Wow. I'm so proud of you, and you're doing a fantastic job. And thank you, Mom. Your mom did a great job with you. Oh, that is so amazing that you are so young and you're not even 30 yet. Not
No,
even 30 yet.
not yet. I'm trying to enjoy these last bits of my 20s. The funny thing is too, I found that this year was the year where I just wanted to like take deeper risks, right? And the first one that I did, well, one of the first ones was I've always had long hair, right? So
Yeah.
I loved my bun and I loved like just brushing it up or straightening it. And literally the day before my birthday, I was like, you know what? Just cut it off. Like it's
You're
hair.
beginning.
Grow
You're
back.
beginning.
I was like, I couldn't believe it. I said it, and then as she was cutting it, I was like, oh wow, so like I'm really cutting my hair. Like this is actually happening. And I was like, this is the beginning of big things for me. And I was like, you know, I wanted to be stress free. I'm baking, so I don't want to have to worry about my hair. So I wanted to like just cut it off. Like let's just cut it off. Let's start over fresh. Let's just do everything over. And it worked out. And I feel so free. I feel like, you know, having a business and having a purpose and actually knowing what I'm striving for is such a beautiful thing. And I really encourage everyone to do that. Like soul searching is so important. Self-care, taking time to yourself and getting to know yourself, your real true self, not the self that people put upon you, but the self that you know you are. It's so important because I haven't been happier. This has been a great transition for me. And I just hope that people can find it within themselves to find what their true path is. Because I feel like there's a lot of people at jobs that they're not happy with. Or they even have a business that they're not really passionate about, but they're just doing it because of the money. And I'm telling you, when you do things because you truly believe in something and you truly like something, it flourishes way faster than doing something for the dollar.
It does. It sure does. Because when you do what you love, the money will come no matter what. The money will come automatically when you do what you love. If you do it for the money, you're going to fail.
Yeah.
You're going to fail. You're
Yep.
going to fail. And it's just how it is. I did both. I did both. So I'm speaking from experience.
Mm.
So, Kianna, where can they find you on social media? What all social media are you on? And where can
So
they
I am on Facebook. Facebook, it's under Baked by Key. So you'll find me there, but it's underneath my personal page. So it's a separate sector, but my personal page is Kianna Francois. Instagram, my main page is Kianna Irie _, and then we have a baking page, Sweet Bites Galore LLC. So we are there. We have a Shopify store. So if you guys wanted to place orders there, you can do so there, but we also take orders via email at sweetbitesgalore@gmail.com. So we have a lot of different forums. We're also on LinkedIn. LinkedIn we are on. We just kind of started it up though, so it's just like in the process, but we are up there. So there's a lot of different forums we are on.
Okay, and Kianna, how do you spell your last name so that they could find you on social media?
F as in Frank, RAN as in Nancy, COIS as in Sam. So like Francois, but Francois.
Very good. So do you have a location you're working from, or you're just working from home?
So right now, I use my kitchen at my house. And I do drop-offs. So I do drop-offs in New York, so Nassau County, Suffolk County, Brooklyn, and Queens. And we ship US. So
Oh, wow.
I'm out of my house right now, but I figured it's just like better that way since I'm doing drop-offs. No one's really coming here, especially during the COVID. I haven't had anyone come here just because I don't want anyone around my son. But yeah, that's where we are right now. But the goal is by the end of next year to have a shop, but we want to see what's going to happen with the pandemic and everything. So I haven't jumped the gun with that. We've had offers, but I'm like, I just want to make sure like we're making steps that make sense. So right now I am out of my house, but yeah, that's where we are right now.
That's very good. And I'm so glad that you're doing baby steps. The offers will always be there,
Mm-hmm.
but the goal is to be there as long as forever as possible. You don't
Mm-hmm.
want a fly by night situation and you get a store and you didn't evaluate everything before you make the big move.
Yeah.
And so congratulations on that. You're so focused. You're so smart. And I didn't expect you to be so, like, how could I put it? I don't even have the word for it. You are more than what the universe could give. And I'm so happy for you. I'm
Thank
so
you.
happy for you. You know, you're a
Yeah.
breath of fresh air, especially at your age. You have such a good head on your shoulders. And I have worked with people my age, and they haven't even taught half of what you have going for yourself. And I'm so happy for you. And
Thank you.
you're. I wish you the best. You're an inspiration to me, and I'm so happy for you. So happy for you.
Thank you very much.
Now, as a beautiful, phenomenal Black woman that you are, what advice would you give to another phenomenal, beautiful Black woman?
I would say trust yourself. Um, so often I feel that our brains and our thoughts stop us from our destiny because we second guess. We want to compete with what we see on social media. Like I was saying before, social media is so addicting, yet it can be detrimental to someone's success because they feel like they can't match up to what they see. We need more people like us to step up and show what they know, like show us what you've been creating or what you're passionate about. And I think there's a lot of women out there that second guess themselves because they just feel like they can't compete, or what about me and my ideas is good enough for the world, or why would somebody want to buy something from me? And it's like, just trust yourself, trust the process, and you'll be a lot happier. I think a lot of people are just settling instead of tapping into who they truly believe they can be. And I just say follow that. I know it sounds cliche, but honestly, follow what your gut is telling you. And if your gut is telling you something, it could be the scariest thing, but once you follow it and trust it, you'll be a lot happier. So that's all I got. That's my tools for the day, the keys.
I'm so glad you say that, because the reason I started Sharon King Worldwide, I doing a segment of interviewing, is because I was reaching out to people wanted to be on their show.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not famous, if somebody don't know you, you're not going to be on.
Mm-hmm.
So I sat there on my couch one day, because I'm always thinking. I said, you know what? I'm going to do a show and bring people on that people probably would never think about having on their show, because I want them to tell their story.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to be on. I want them to have a spotlight. I want other people to know who they are. I want their, whatever they went through in their life, inspire somebody else. And who's going to put them on? Me. So I sat there. I reached out to some people. I said, would you work with me? Would you work with me? We'll work with you. I waited for them to respond back to my email. Only thing I get was a bunch of excuses. So I said, you know what? It was meant for me to do by myself. So I did it. I did it. A couple of times I did it. I didn't do my Zoom properly. My other laptop wasn't working. I had to purchase a new laptop. The recording didn't go right. I had to re-record, but I did it. I never stopped. And you can't stop just because something is not working. You just can't stop. I was at the dentist doing dental implant. I was like, I got to talk funny for today, but I'm not going to stop. But you can't stop because things are going on.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody don't want you to sit at their table, make your own table. Do your own show. Do it with purpose, do it big, stay focused. Please stay focused. And do it from the heart. You don't know who life you're changing, who you're inspiring. Do things from the heart and do things with love. What you put out comes back to you. Whether you know it or not, it comes back to you. So I always try my best to do as much good as I can. Some things I do nobody knows about, because just because I do so much good, I don't need it to be videotaped. I don't need the world to know it.
Yeah.
From the heart. you know?
I think so much, there's a lot of people out there that do things because they want the pat on the back. And that's why I say, like, if you're going to start a business, you can't look for that.
No.
You got to just do it because that's something that you're passionate about. There's so many other vegan based places, right? But if I went into it thinking like, oh, but there's another baking company, like they're not going to want to buy my stuff, it wouldn't have been successful because I'm second guessing my dream. I'm second guessing what I do. And sometimes people don't buy the product for the product. They buy it because of you and what you spew out and what your energy is giving off. And I know that I'm a genuine person. I love spreading love and spreading any like gems that I have for somebody else. And I just feel like there's so many people out there that needed that, you know, and I like to do giveaways. I like to do like things that most companies don't, just because I don't do it for the money. I do it because I like to do it. And I was one of those people too. Like I wanted to try something before I bought it. And I was just like, most people are not going to let you try a piece of a cookie before like they buy it.
Right.
But I like to do giveaways for the month, or I like to just try doing different things that would allow people to learn about veganism and see that it's not so negative as much as people make it out to be. A lot of people just don't know much about it. And I learned a lot from baking and just learning alternatives to what I was brought up on, which was eggs and milk and all types of stuff. And I'm not knocking it. It's just I learned a different point in my life. And I was like, why not make something that most people don't know about? And I've been happy ever since I tapped into that. So
That, you know, that is such a blessing. And you said something that made me like, I know that there's some purpose bigger for you than what you're doing. There's so many people that own vegan store, and not once did you thought about your vegan store failing.
mm,
You have such a big calling on your life, and you have such a big purpose on your life, and you're doing it. And I'm so proud of you.
thank you
So
very
proud
much.
of you.
I appreciate it. No, I appreciate it because there were times where I would just get so frustrated because I wanted to be great at something. I wanted something that was mine, and I just didn't know what it was. I tried so many different things. Oh my God, if I told you like the list of stuff that I tried, you'd be like, what? And I was just like, maybe I should just give up. Maybe it's just not going to work because nothing's working. Things would work, but then the second time I made it, it wouldn't. Or like, I just like, there were people who were just so negative about it. And I was just getting so frustrated because when you're trying to work and you're a single mom and you're trying to make sure that the bills are paid, but you still want to use some of the money that you had to try something. And you're just like, I got to make sure that I'm able to, it was just so many things. And I got to a lot of moments of frustration where I wanted to give up. And there's still days that get rough. And it's just normal. Like we're humans, we get frustrated, we get overwhelmed. But this right here is definitely something I'm supposed to do. There's never a time where I'm just like, you know what, I'm going to throw in the towel and say, forget it. And I've never been somebody who gives up on things. But I just never had people who actually believed in me. So I had to believe in myself. And to be honest with you, I'm totally okay with that because myself and the universe and the people that I've met and the people that I've learned from have helped me so much. And it's just random people that reached out to me when they saw I was trying something, or I ran into someone at the bank and they gave me some sort of tip that worked out. And I ended up partnering with them on something. And it's just like, you just never know how things are going to play out, but you just have to, trust the process, because you never would get a feeling in your gut to start something if it wasn't your purpose or if it wasn't a part of your journey.
Absolutely. And also, you got to remember, strangers will help you and support you more than the people you know.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I learned that the hard way too. That was a whole other thing. Like I remember I used to do network marketing and I would have to like contact people and bring them in. And I remember going to my family first because, right, they're your family. They're going to buy from you first. And they were like, no, let me know how that works out. Or, oh, you'll figure it out. That's cute that you're trying something or something like that. And I would get so frustrated, like, why wouldn't you want to support me? And it's just like, people will support you because they actually want to support you. You should never have to force someone to see what you're trying to do. And 9 times out of 10, once the strangers are all for it, your family will be like, yeah, I knew you could do it. Right there. It's just like, okay, yep, got it.
You know, you are where you're supposed to be. You have leveled up. I know you have leveled up because I leveled up also when I realized that it doesn't matter. I'm doing what I got to do. And the back noise, the side noise, none of that matter. None of that matter. As long as I'm living my purpose and doing what I need to do.
That's all you can do. Literally, that's all you can do. You can't let what other people are not trying to support or what they're not agreeing with, you know, deter you from what you're trying to do, because then you'll just end up frustrated and pissed even more. And I just got over it. I was just like, you know what? I believe in me, and that's all that matters. And it was just unbelievable how things just played out for me. And I remember there were a lot of things that I thought I should just say, forget it. It's not gonna work. And one of the things too was, you know, finding love and like, you know, starting over. And like, I know I'm 26, everybody's like, oh my God, your life's not over. But I felt like I was, because I'm like, you know, I'm a single mom, I'm struggling, I'm trying to figure things out. And then my current boyfriend, he happened to be vegan, and he taught me about veganism and just different things I just never knew about. And he's actually my co-baker. So he helps me out with that. And it's just been a great journey, this whole process. And I haven't arrived yet. I'm still learning, but I was thankful to have him as a partner and, you know, someone who believed in me when sometimes I really didn't even believe in myself. And it's a blessing if you have that. But if you don't, you definitely should, you know, tap into yourself. And I always have my back, my own back. But it was just great to have a partner, like someone who was just there and, you know, spewing out from the stands, like, you could do it, it's okay, when I felt like I couldn't. So that was a blessing too.
That is a blessing to have somebody to cheer you on.
Mm.
Because there are times I'm like, okay, I'm doing 100 things and I'm single. And when I come home or I finish working on something or I have a conference call or a Zoom call, I'm rooting for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm okay with that. First, I wasn't. I would cry like, oh my God, there's nobody there to hug me and say, honey, you did a good job. And I'm okay.
Yeah.
I know I did a good job. I know I did a good job. So Kianna, let me ask you, what is your website and what is on your menu?
So my website is sweetbitesgalore.shopify.com. And right now we have a lot of limited things. For the season change, we're going to be adding some more fall tasties to the menu, but right now we have red velvet brownies. We have a lot of assortments of cookies. We have a new flavor coming out this week. But we have a lot of mixtures of loaves and breads and cupcakes and stuff like that. We actually also take special requests. So if there's something that's not on the site, you can submit through a tab on the site to create something that's not there. And 9 times out of 10, we do it. Right now, we have, I believe, 13 items on the menu on my site.
Uh-huh.
But we are constantly changing and adding things, and we add new things every 2 weeks. So if there's something that's not there and you guys want it, definitely feel free to send an email or DM me, and we will make sure that that's done.
That's awesome. You mentioned that you also do stuff during the mail, so I got to place my order, my red velvet order.
Yes, you do. You're missing out. We also do CBD infused brownies and cookies also, but we would just need 2 weeks notice for that. CBD has been another realm that we have been tapping into. And it's been an amazing journey for me learning about that, because I never knew certain things and benefits that came from CBD. And we were just trying it out in the beginning. And once people were trying the CBD and coming back for it, I was like, all right, so I think we did a good job here. We did a good job with that. So CBD is something that can be infused with brownies or cookies also.
Kianna, explain what CBD is.
So CBD is cannabis. But the difference between the actual cannabis that everybody knows live and well is that there is less than 0.2% of THC in them. So it doesn't give you the psychological component that comes with smoking, but it helps with benefits of like back aches and body aches and things like that. It's a healing type cannabis plant. And I like to add that to cookies and brownies because a lot of people have a negative outlook on it. But it actually does have a lot of good benefits. And it actually did help my boyfriend out because he was in a bad car accident a few years ago and he tried CBD and it helped with the aches and pains while he was healing. And there's a sister company that we are working on that's going to be released in December for healing. So that's going to be another thing too. But right now we're just sweet bites with our baked goods. But cannabis is actually something that I've actually enjoyed learning about. There's a lot of health benefits that I never knew was a thing. So once I learned that, it was definitely a need to add to the menu. So that's there.
Wow. Congratulations in advance. And I will love to have you back on to give me updates on your
absolutely
on your new and improved and all your adventures you got going on.
Yes.
And all your success. I want to see you and I will support you as much as I can. I will order. I probably won't do the CBD.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm allergic to alcohol and cigar tobaccos and everything else.
Got it.
Yes. So we have someone on, one of your fans, your new fans. She said, congratulations. Her name is Leslie. She said,
congratulations. Thank you.
She said, congrats. And
you're welcome.
And so the whole thing about it is I will make sure that I put you on all my social media page along with my personal website, and I will link it to your website so people could purchase on there from you.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. I know we only have 6 more minutes before we end. Is there anything additional you would like for the audience to know about you?
The only thing I could really say is just tap into yourself. Like, don't be afraid of learning about yourself. And I remember I used to just be that person. I wanted to play it safe. And like, I always just thought that was so strange of people posting about like self-love and self-care. And I'm like, I do take care of myself, but I really wasn't. I was limiting myself from growth. And the biggest thing that I can say is just continue to grow and continue to do what makes you kick. And it'll never steer you wrong. That's all I got.
Well, I just want to say thank you. I thank you so much. And I appreciate you for allowing Sharon King and Sharon King Worldwide to interview you and tell your story.
Oh, absolutely.
I am going to be supporting you. I am going to be placing my order. I love red velvet. I love red velvet. And I know the holidays are coming up and everything else.
Yes.
I will.
December is going to be good too. The fall, we have a lot of fall things coming out. Also, we've incorporated pumpkin bread and stuff like that. But for the holidays, I'm so excited because we will be bringing out vegan chocolates and stuff like that. So I'm really excited to do that too. So I'm just like waiting for December so I can just like launch that out. So whenever you're ready, we are definitely down for that. But I so appreciate you guys for like even having me interviewed, because I was just like, I'm just thankful. I got nothing. I appreciate it so much because it's just crazy how someone from a whole other side of the world was just like, you know what, you've inspired me. And I'm just like, I have, like, really? I appreciate it. So thank you very much.
Oh, you're very welcome. When I saw the posting on Instagram, I read it 4 times, and I was like, this is amazing. She's inspired me. I have to reach out to her. One thing you'll learn about me, I love and I really enjoy celebrating someone else's success because there's so much room on the top for all of us. So when you win, we all win because we're all in this together. And me celebrating your success don't take anything away from me. And so I said, I have to ask her to be on my show and I have to let the world know who she is and her business, Sweet Bites LLC, and everybody needs to know who Kianna Francois is. So I said, I'm just going to ask. And I woke up that morning, I was like, okay, the first thing I do beside after I pray, I said, I'm going to check my message. And there you were. You said yes. And I was so happy.
I couldn't turn that down. I appreciated it so much, especially just because there was like so much negative stuff going on for 2020, and I'm just like, this is so awesome, just to like have the platform to even discuss it, and just it's crazy how Sweet Bites just started as like me just baking randomly in my kitchen and posting stuff on Instagram, and now like I have a legit business and people are in love with what I'm making, and I just know I'm doing the right thing. So.
You know what? They're in love with what you're doing because you are a reflection of what you're doing. That is why. That is why everything is so awesome. That is why.
Thank you very much.
So I just want to say thank you and I appreciate you for being on. And please, I want you back on in about 6 months to give us updates on your new business and all your venture and all your success.
Absolutely.
Thank you
Definitely.
so much. Thank you. Thank you. I cannot even thank you so much. You inspire me. Like you really, really inspire me. And I'm so happy that you learned it at a younger age and I learned it at an old age. But as you said prior, you had to learn it over and over and over again until you get it.
Yep. And there's no like timestamp as to when you're supposed to learn something. It's all about time.